Now, this weekend we'll see the Working Abroad Expo take place in the RDS in Dublin before it moves to Cork next Wednesday. Thousands of jobs will be available in different sectors, offering a lifeline to many skilled Irish workers who are, unfortunately, unable to find employment at home at the moment.
Now, this morning we're joined by Irish worker Stuart Cunningham, who took the plunge and moved to Canada in search of better job prospects and a higher standard of living. We're also joined by Rob Norris, Minister of Advanced Education, Employment and Immigration in the Canadian province of Saskatchewan. He can correct me in a minute, where many of the vacancies available are based. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Did I get that right, Rob?
That's exactly right, Saskatchewan.
Brilliant, thank you. Okay, now Stuart, I was just saying to you off air, when I went through your description of Canada, I thought to myself, I really need to get myself to Canada. You're just such a super advertisement for the country because it's just painted such a gorgeous picture of the place. Right. So your girlfriend, now wife, brought you there in the first place? Yeah,
about 6 years ago, we made the move to go over. So she came to Ireland and she was working for about a year or so, and then her visa here expired, and we were kind of decided, what should we do? Should we stay here and extend her visa, or should we go to Canada? So we kind of thought about it for a little while, and we said, well, what the hell, we'll go to Saskatchewan.
So you weighed the pros and cons quite carefully before you made the move? Yeah,
we did. We looked at everything, and I think, you know, things appeal to us, you know, like it's a great place to start a family. The standard of living is very high. The cost of living is comparatively low to here.
And I also thought, Stuart, you took quite a smart approach because you started volunteering, you started joining clubs, you started building contacts before you even got your first job.
That's right. I went over there and I applied for my permanent residency within Canada. So for the first few months I couldn't work at all. So while I was waiting, I started coaching some teams, joined some clubs. I also took part in a few interviews before I had my visa. So that kind of set the stage for when I did get my visa, I could start working straight away.
So they were like practice runs for you, were they?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. It's a very smart approach.
Minister, Mr. Norris, thank you very much for joining us. A couple of things. There's no point in even trying to list off the range and variety of jobs that you've got on offer at this expo, because there's 10,000 of them, and they literally cover all sectors and all walks of employment. So no matter what you do or what your area of expertise is, the chances are there will be something there for somebody if they go along. So just give people a few kind of points. What's the average industrial wage in Saskatchewan? Do you know?
Yeah, our average weekly wage is about 900 Canadian dollars per week, and so that would work out roughly somewhere in the range of between 600 and 700 euros.
Okay, what's the minimum wage then?
Minimum wage is now up between $9 and $10.
Right. Well, average tax rates?
You know, we have a tiered tax system, and I think
you have a local or provincial tax, and then you've got state tax or national tax as well, is it?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And
so, what does the government, either provincial or national, what kind of chunk do they take out of your weekly wage?
Well, it's, you know, it would vary depending on how much a person's making, but I think, as Stuart has said, it's kind of quite reasonable.
Average 30–35%?
I'd say around 30.
Yeah.
Right, the strangest part is actually learning to file both, you know. Right. But it does work out. It's pretty close to here.
What's the average house price? You say, you know, 3-bedroom house for, you know, your standard.
My sense right now is between probably $275,000 and $300,000 in Saskatchewan.
And of course, because it's America, or North America, I beg your pardon, the house sizes, like, I mean, we would be looking at maybe 1,400 square feet for that kind of price range. You're probably talking about 2,500 square feet, right?
Yeah, it's probably a little larger than here. Yeah.
Healthcare.
Yeah. Healthcare in Saskatchewan, well, Saskatchewan has a very interesting history regarding healthcare, and we're really the founding province and founding jurisdiction in North America regarding public healthcare. And so public healthcare is it's public. It's part of.
You have a much more European model. I mean, people have huge worries, nightmare scenarios about the American healthcare system, and apparently even if you're rich and you get sick in America, you can still, you know, end up very poor. But Canada has based its model on the European, and it's actually quite close to the French one, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's, I mean, the key here is about making sure that there's accessibility for people. And so actually, as a provincial government, we've put additional resources in right now. It's somewhere in the range of about 45% of our provincial budget that actually goes towards healthcare, and we're actually working to bring wait times down. So we're trying to be very innovative.
So it's a good place to be sick, if unfortunately you are.
You know, it's a great place to live and to work and raise a family and all the things that go with that.
Right. I just wanted those kind of nuts and bolts out of it, because people, the first thing people will think about it's home, heart and wallet at the moment is very important to people.
Of course.
And particularly people who will be thinking of going there because they're going out of financial necessity. In terms of what Saskatchewan is, it's one of the more rural provinces of, I mean, it's vast open spaces, prairie, agriculture, and that sort of industry is an enormous part of your economy, isn't it?
You know, Saskatchewan is, it's about the size of Ukraine, or as Stuart has reminded us.
It's about the size of France and Spain put together.
Yeah, I think you can have 10 Irelands within Saskatchewan alone. So in the north there would be, you know, tens of thousands of lakes, and it's woodland, and in the south we have almost 50% of Canada's arable land, and the population centres are focused mostly in and around two cities that are between 200 and 300,000 each, and then importantly what we have is a increasing population. So the population has grown by about 60,000 people in the last 5 years.
You want about 1.6 million at the moment, is it?
1,060,000.
All right.
And,
okay.
And so we're pleased.
So this is, it's vast.
It's vast.
And very sparsely populated.
We have one of the broadest natural resource portfolios of any jurisdiction in North America. So from farmland through to potash mining, and potash is used for fertilizer. Then we have uranium mining, we have very significant oil production, and in addition to our natural resources, we're also seen as an innovation leader, science and technology leader within Canada.
So you need people, and you need them fast.
Well, you know, in the mining sector alone, we've had tens of billions of dollars announced recently on new mines that are going to be going into production, and existing mines that are going to be expanding. So, yeah, right now, today, there are 10,000 jobs open and available in Saskatchewan. Where we're going, we anticipate will be about 90,000 over the course of the next decade or so.
Stuart, we know jobs are clearly plentiful, but it's not just about a job, is it? It's about a lifestyle. And I loved reading your story about the fact that, you know, there's a local Irish bar, it's like a home from home.
Yeah.
The people are warm and friendly, and they're kind of self-deprecating sense of humour as well.
That's right. I noticed a lot of similarities, and especially the sense of humour. You know, I think, you know, here we like to have a bit of laugh at ourselves, you know, and I think in Saskatchewan they're well able to do that as well, you know.
Okay, it's very important.
They would have grown up with a lot of the same sort of British comedy. I mean, they, like Monty Python and all that sort of stuff, so we would have grown up with.
Exactly, there's a huge influence there as well, yeah. But yeah, just in terms of the Irish bar, there's a few of them there, and usually that's where the Irish people will go and hang out, and you can always tell that the population is increasing because there's more Irish accents there, and
right.
English too.
Now, actually, a question I want to ask you talked about going over there first of all and joining clubs and taking a little while to get your work arrangements in place so that you could actually start a job. Rob, people who go to this expo this weekend, find something for them, get signed up and go. How long from going over to Canada, landing there, to starting a job? And what are the kind of the immigration issues that they may have to deal with?
Sure, we're here. The government's here with about 27 Saskatchewan employers, and there's a initial goal of 275 positions or jobs that they want to fill. We have in Canada, immigration is a shared jurisdiction nationally and provincially, and so we anticipate that as the employer puts forward the recommendation, and really this is about going through an interview process for those that are interested. First of all, we anticipate between kind of 3 to 6 months in the transition to get to Canada, but as people arrive in Saskatchewan, quite literally we have employers that often greet them at the airport, and they can be working within days.
So the vetting process will happen before they get to Canada. So in other words, once they go there, they're going to hit the ground running.
That's exactly right.
But it's between 3 and 6 months vetting process before they get to that.
That's right.
How rigorous is that process going to be? I mean, you know, we have anybody who's been in and out of the States in the last couple of years will know that it can be a very unpleasant experience going through your sort of southern cousins airports. It can be very tough, it can be very grilling. Is the Canadian process as rigorous as that?
Well, we do have a rigorous process. It begins with the employers, then it comes to the provincial government, and ultimately what we're looking for is legitimacy in what the employers see and as far as what the individuals are saying that they have. And then then from there we do hand it to our federal or national government. They look through issues of criminality and national security issues. Those are realities today. So, but for the most part, I don't think it's overly onerous as far as people completing the procedures and just making sure that their documentation's in order.
Okay. Well, listen, I have to say, I said it before. On this program, we went to Vancouver and British Columbia a couple of years ago, and it was certainly the best trip I've ever been on. And if I was 25 or 30 years younger, I would have packed my wife and kids and family, and I would have moved lock, stock and barrel. It was the greatest place I've ever been in. So for what that endorsement is worth, and I think, Stuart, you're living proof that it's been good for you.
Yeah,
we wish you, sorry to see people like you go, because you're our lifeblood, and Canada are going to get it now, but at least you've got a good life yourself over there, and we wish you well with that.
Thanks very much.
Rob Norris, it was a pleasure to meet you. We hope you have a roaring success this weekend.
Thank you.
So this weekend, Saturday, Sunday in the RDS from 11 to 5, and on Wednesday it's in Cork.
That's
in
exactly
the Silver
right.
Springs Hotel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Now.